My question is, who has inspired you, motivated you, pushed you, taught you, maybe even forced you to do things that were beyond your comfort zone, but they were good for you? Well, that's what's motivating me today. So last week I had something really exciting happen. I got a random message out of the blue from a student of mine when I was teaching 7th grade literature long ago. I only taught 1 year, and then all the schools were laying off teachers in my city because there weren't enough kids. And so I had to figure out how to take a teaching degree and turn it into something else. From time to time, I think about these students. They were fantastic. I actually taught 7th grade English Lit, and then I taught computer classes from 1st through 8th grade. Because when they hired me, they said, well, we need a teacher for one period, but we need a computer teacher. You think you can teach computers? So I'm like, sure, no problem. I had no computer. So that was really funny, but I did make it work. But I got this really neat message just saying, I can't believe I found you. You were an inspiring teacher to me. And so we had a lot of messages going back and forth, and it was really cool. But here's the line that really got me when she said, and I quote, "I honestly think having you as a teacher helped me learn how to stand up for myself." Wow. I was blown away by that. And, it really made me think about how we become who we become. Like, how do we evolve as human beings, as personal lives and professional lives? And, who are those people that we remember? And here's the next question of that is, when you know that person in your life, and if you spend some time and think about it and come up with one or two people that are really, hold that role in your life, have you told them? Have you taken the opportunity to tell them? And sometimes you can't. Sometimes they're already gone. I had a couple of those people in my life. The first one was very impactful and also a teacher. And he was my choir director in high school. His name is John Walk. He's unfortunately passed away. He had a brain tumor that he couldn't continue to fight. And I was so devastated, like all of us were, because some people loved him, some people hated him. But regardless of that, everybody knew that he pushed them to some level. He really challenged me. He challenged me to, I remember when he said, I'm going to give you this solo. It was the first solo. I was a freshman in high school. It was the Christmas concert. And and it was in Let It Snow. I still remember all, I know the whole thing. I was terrified, and yet I wasn't. And I remember thinking, this man barely knows me, but he believes not just that maybe I can sing, but maybe I have something that could be more. And then throughout high school, he continued to push me and challenge me and push me in roles and not always give me opportunities. There were a lot of times that I was passed up for opportunities because I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't good enough compared to somebody else. And he didn't ever try and sugarcoat it with anybody. He'd like, look, you have to make a decision. You got talent or not? And you have talent, but I was very fortunate to be able to spend a time with him after high school. Every time I'd come back, from college, I'd seem like I'd try and go see him. And I had the opportunity to tell him how much he meant to me. So another person, also a teacher, his name is Jack Delahanty, and he was my drama coach as well as my senior year English Lit teacher. And he made us read things that I'm still traumatized about today. If you've ever read the book Equus, you'll know what I mean. And if you've never read the book Equus, don't read it. But he also taught me about archetypal images and, gave me a passion for reading mythology and really studying mythology. And on the drama side, he pushed me to act in a completely different way, meaning, he wanted me always to try things that were uncomfortable, to do things that were uncomfortable, which is actually probably why we read Equus. Oh, my goodness. There, see, I'm learning stuff even now. But here's the key. Those people, I'm so fortunate I've been able to have the time to tell them. But I had somebody in my professional life who absolutely, I've talked about him in a lot of videos, a lot of different elements. His name is Glenn Baylor. And he was the first person in a leadership role for me who really pushed me to try new things and take risks and be okay to fail. Because in his eyes, it didn't matter if I failed. It only mattered if I didn't try. And because of him, my creativity from a sales perspective just skyrocketed, because he always wanted me to try something new and never be complacent. So today my motivation is reflecting on the people that have made me who I am. You know, there's so many. And making sure that I'm comfortable and confident that they know how much I love and value them, or that they did if they are not with us anymore. And so I want you to do the same, but I actually want you to think about something else. So when I got that email, that message from my former student, I remember thinking, wow, I would have never known that I had that impact on her had she not reached out. And that took action on her part. So as I'm challenging you to go do this with others, I want you to think about the fact that there's probably other people that you have impacted that may never tell you. And this is a good time to reflect on who you think you may have impacted, that you've pushed, that you've challenged, that you've helped grow, you've gotten them towards their potential, but they may never tell you. And maybe it's because it's too hard, or maybe because they don't recognize it yet, or maybe because they're uncomfortable, or maybe because then that would make you right. I have a little bit of that in me every once in a while. I hate it when sometimes I have to tell my husband, hey, you know, when we were talking about that, you were right. And sometimes it's hard for people to recognize that, especially if we've been pushed or challenged. But just recognizing that there's probably at least one person out there in the world, most likely many, many people, but at least one person that you have positively impacted. Just take time to pat yourself on the back. It's not always easy. It's not always comfortable. It definitely doesn't always have, immediate return on your investment. But just reminding yourself that you make a valued difference in somebody else's life should be a good way to keep you floating through this week. Happy Monday, everybody. And remember, keep shocking your potential.